If you want to open your own barbershop, then watch this video. Chris Ulibas, aka Criserhands, went from being a freelance graphic design artist to a barber because one of his clients at the time was in the hairstyling industry. His curiosity led him down a hairstyling path, and now he owns his own barbershop located in Los Angeles, California. He sees dozens of clients a month and sets his own schedule. Follow along while Chris shares his journey.
All right, we got some plants here that I've collected throughout the years. I play the music. I have a refrigerator back there for my lunch. I tend to sit here, got my vacuum. I generally use 3 shears, combs. I got a bunch of clippers. I'm cutting right here. And I used to cut off of this chair, but I noticed if you compare the seats, there's quite a difference, and I'm kind of short. So what was happening for the first couple of years is my shoulders got really tense from cutting the top and blow drying women's hair. And my chaps were killing me. So I had to get a lower chair, and this has been working out for me now. I found it on Craigslist. Some lady she was decided to retire from cutting hair. So I think I got this for like 75 bucks. To be a whiskey collector, so I displayed a bunch of whiskeys here. If anyone wants a drink, they can get, look, this is, at a bar, this would be like a $30 shot. Complimentary here. Yeah. Kind of messy right now. I would like this to be more nicer.
So you actually set this up and it can support your entire weight?
Yep. So this is from the 80s.
That's an original.
This is original. I got it when I was a kid. In 7th grade, my dad used to cut my hair, and he used to just do like a number 1 on the side, and I was cool with that. At the time, everyone was looking at hair. Everyone, you had the whole slick back style. Everyone's looking at your hair, and if you had your hair grown out, like sticking out, you'd be made fun of. And I didn't want to be the guy being made fun of. I ended up getting in an argument with my dad. That age when you start talking back to him, and then we weren't talking. And I needed a haircut. So I was like, oh shit, wrong time to argue with my dad. And I ended up just trying to cut my own hair. I grabbed the clippers and was like, how bad could this be? Ran it through the sides and the back, and I fucked it up. I was like, what do I do with all this hair hanging over at the top? And then my dad was able to, he fixed it. He was like, sit down, he fixed it for me. And I noticed he got a comb or whatever over his fingers, and all the hairs that were hanging out of the top, he's like, he just cut off. Whatever's I was like, oh. So after that, I tried it myself. It came out good. I started cutting my own hair from then on. I think I cut my brother's hair, and it came out decent. And then all through high school, my friends would ask me, hey, who cut your hair? And I was like, I did. And they're like, oh, can you cut mine? So it just became a hobby. I was like, all right, we go to the people's backyard, garage. And then I got familiar with the clippers. Me and all my cousins, we all cut our own hair, and from that point. So that's how it got started. I didn't know I was gonna do this for a living. To be a barber back then, they were charging like $5 to $10. I was like, I can do this for a living. I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna be somebody. But these days, I decided to do barbering. It wasn't until later I decided to do barbering, because we're charging more. There were stylists that were charging $100, $150 an hour. So I thought I'd give it a shot. It wasn't later until that, the barbering thing came about. When I was in college cutting people's hair, I was actually moving to becoming a hairstylist, doing women's hair. And I think I saw a girl at a Japanese restaurant who had like really short but pink hair, and it was like almost mullety in the back, but it was a really dope hairstyle. She had like these slanted bangs. I was like, that's funky, that's dope. No one has that. And I got inspired by that. I was like, how is that cut? How do they do that? Maybe I should go to hair school. At the time, I was a graphic designer. So I was actually doing, I graduated from Cal State Fullerton with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts degree in graphic design and a minor in advertising. I started freelancing, and one of my clients was a beauty school. They were the Career Academy of Beauty. So I decided to, while I was taking pictures of the students, I was like, oh, how do you get the hair to curl like that? And one of the students was like, oh, I just use this brown round brush. And dry it while it's curled in, and then I was like, oh, it flips.
So like
Oh, that's
volume,
cool.
right?
Yeah, or just that style. You know how that 70s flip out style was in at the time?
Yeah.
This was probably 15 years ago. And I was like, oh shit. I was trying to flip my hair out too. At the time I had long hair.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know, I was inspired by the whole, I think Incubus, he had it during his Drive music video. I inquired to the instructor, the main instructor that knew me, and I was like, oh, how much is it to go to beauty school here?
Right, which is the next question. Yeah.
And she was like, oh, it's like 15,000. They're like, because you work with us, maybe we can hook you up for like 11,000. I was like, oh, cool, okay, let me see what I can save up. At the same time, my friend Trish was going to beauty school in Pasadena.
Okay.
And it was a community college, so you have community college prices, which breaks down to, who knows, like $10 to $15 a unit. I was like, that's gonna be way cheaper. Fast forward, she gets me into beauty school. It turns out there's like 20 people in the waiting list to get into this beauty school. But she vouched for me, and they're like, oh, people drop out. You know what? Because Trish vouched for you, we'll get you in.
Yeah.
We'll get you in front of the waiting
So you
list.
got hooked up.
I got hooked up. I started right away. I was like, cool. I have the next month or two ready to go.
Right.
And they're like, you know, it's gonna be a year, right? I was like, oh shit, 1 year? I thought it was like getting your bartending license.
Yeah.
No, it was getting your cosmetology license is 1,600 hours.
Okay.
And
how much was that?
well, I want to say you pay per unit. Let's just say it came out to about 200 a semester,
Okay.
plus 800 for all your materials and stuff like that. I think I paid the 200 for the first semester. To find out the second semester, because I was I qualified for a fee waiver,
Yeah.
because I was a college graduate, or I don't know what it is, but I qualified for a fee waiver after applying for it, and it ended up being free.
Oh.
So
Tuition.
my whole tuition was free. They said all I had to pay was for my materials, which was $800 for just the bag of blow dryer and stuff, one time, books and etc. And I only had to pay $14 a semester from then on for health fees,
Oh.
for the health office. So if you get sick, they could
Yeah.
treat you.
Yeah.
If you get a cut, whatever, it's just health fees for the
Right.
school. Oh yeah. I mean, unless you wanna go to like Paul Mitchell or a big school like Tony and Guy, and you wanna, you know, be fancy and learn some intricate stuff, that's up to you and what you research. But for me, I just needed the license.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, $15 for health fees, or $14,
Yeah.
or $12,000 at a professional school. At the end of the day, you get a license.
Right. The license is the same.
The license is the same. I think first of all, you need motivation. If you want to do something, you have to have a vision. You'd be like, why do you want to do this? You know, if you want to lay out tiles, you can't just be like, I'm gonna lay out tiles because I want to make money. You have to be like, I want to learn. Why do you want to learn how to lay out tiles? Why do you want to learn to cut hair? If you're inspired, a lot of barbers are inspired by other barbers nowadays. So maybe you just gotta have a vision of what you want to become. I think you have to maybe have a mentor. It's good to have a mentor. You can study somebody. I think one of the guys that inspired me was Vince the barber. He was a friend of a friend, and he started doing designs on people's heads, and I was like, oh my gosh. I started asking him what clippers did he use, how he holds a straight razor, and one of the first shops he opened was Capsule, and he had called me up to be one of the first people to work there.
Yeah.
And rent a chair. So from then on, I was kind of picking his brain. And so in a way, he became my mentor. Like, I'd watch him cut hair. Hey, what's a taper?
You ask questions, right?
Yeah. How do you fade the side? What clippers do you use? What scissors do you use? So I don't know, if you could find somebody to learn from, someone to ask questions, and then a lot of practice. It just takes practice. Practice on your friends, practice on your cousins, your family, your mom, your dad, whatever, a doll head.
Yeah.
And I think school is gonna be important for that, because if you wanna get started, go to school, get your license, and from then on, you learn some basic techniques.
Yeah.
If you want to open up your own barbershop, I would start with a budget. You have to be able to pay the rent on your own. You can't rely on anybody, employees, to cut hair and make the rent off them. I think for me, I wanted to be able to make the rent. I knew I needed to make the rent on my own. Startup costs, you know, whatever you calculate, if it's just mirrors, chairs, and stations, and a shampoo bowl, I don't know, let's just say that was $10,000. I needed $10,000, let's say for the down payment, for the rent, for the materials, for the mirrors, for the chairs, whatever, back bar, shampoo, material, scissors, clippers. You know, I was like, okay, let me save up $10,000. Okay, cool, I have $10,000, I can open up my own shop. I knew I had a clientele. So I asked people at the old barbershop, you know, what do you come here for? Do you come here for the barber, or do you come here for me? I said, we come here for you. Boom, I have a clientele. Right. People will follow me. Once you have a good product and you promote it, and you believe in your product, people are gonna come. I think I had a skill that could be in demand. I can get new clients, but I feel like it is my clientele that I had that's gonna keep my rent being paid for.
Right.
Right now I have one other barber. He's on commission. Yeah, he takes his own clients. Clients book online. Because I have my clientele, I pretty much push all the other clients to him. I do take them if they mention me specifically, or they're referred by someone. Yeah. But because I get booked up a couple weeks in advance, I push him. I want him to build, and I want him to get booked up. Right. Then I could build possibly for a third chair. There's two things you can do. You can work out with the shop depending on the shop owner's way of business. Right. There's commission, which is a percentage. The barber and the stylist work out a percentage. Let's just say it's 50-50. And then maybe the barber keeps the tip. Got it. And then there's rent. So rent would be like renting an apartment almost. Yeah. You pay, I don't know whether weekly or monthly for the chair. You could pay daily. You could pay whatever, $50 for the day, or maybe $200 for the week, or $1,000 for the month. Whatever you work out. Maybe they get a key for the shop. As a renter, usually they get a key for the shop, they can come in anytime. As a commission, you kind of want them to be here during certain times. They could take walk-ins, be available, and then, you know, maybe as commission, you're pushed to send them more people. Guest barbering is good for promotion. If someone from New York is in LA and they want to cut hair, maybe they want to get their name out, so they can rent a chair at a shop for the day, or a guest barber at a shop, and they could, you know, get some popularity. Maybe the shop's popular, so they can tag, oh, we got blah 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 barber from New York, come get a haircut. Yeah.
Whatever, right?
So it's promotion for him. Maybe he's gonna make money, or maybe he's a famous barber and he blows up the shop by tagging the shop on Instagram. This is where I'm cutting. Oh shoot, people are gonna find out about the shop. So it could be a win-win
for both ends.
For both.
Yeah.
I think guest barbering is probably a promotional tool, or just business on both sides. I had a budget. I knew I had a budget $10,000.
It was 10 grand.
Yeah. And who knows? Nowadays it might be more. It might be double. Like everything is double nowadays. So maybe it was 10 grand 10 years ago. You might need 20,000 these days.
Yeah.
I would say it should take a year.
Took you about a year?
I think with any business, it should take about a year. You know, let's just say, I don't know, rent is $10,000 a year. Yeah. You want to be able to profit the $10,000. Boom, it paid for. If you can make $10,000 in a month or 2 months, great. That's the goal. But if it takes you a year for the first time, know that after that, you should be able to build more clients than you did on your first year.
Yeah.
Like anything, you should budget and get better and better every year. Every day there's going to be challenges. Who knows whether it's a customer service issue, someone that doesn't like their haircut, you know, a bum sleeping on outside the door, plumbing issue with the building you're renting, problem with the management. Whatever it is, there's going to be challenges here and there. And I think that's where you gotta kind of deal with it and face. Every day, just improve, get better, learn how to prevent issues. There's probably 3 big things.
Okay, great.
The big 3 is you got Yelp. I always ask people, how did you find me? How did you? People are coming in my chair. I was like, how did you find me?
You've never seen it before.
Yeah, I never seen it before. Oh, Yelp. I Yelp the shop. 2, Instagram. You might not have a bunch of followers, but your clients are following you.
Right.
But what I noticed with Instagram, every time I would post a haircut on Instagram, I would get calls from my clients saying, it almost serves as a reminder. It puts them in their head, like, oh, Chris posted a haircut. Oh, that's a nice fade. By the way, I need to book an appointment.
Yeah.
3rd one is word of mouth. You do a really good haircut on one of your friends or clients, people go out and see it and they ask, hey, who cut your hair?
I mean, they're essentially a walking advertisement for you, right?
They're a walking advertisement. I used to notice that Octobers were slow, and I couldn't figure out why. And I think it's because people are thinking about November.
Yeah.
And the holidays coming up, they're like, I need a fresh cut for the holidays, family coming down. Now's my time to save. But they're also thinking, oh, I gotta get gifts for this.
Yeah.
I gotta get this for my family.
Yeah.
Let me save in October.
Travel.
And then on Halloween, when they go out, they're like, I'm gonna wear a wig, I'm gonna wear a costume. Maybe I'm gonna grow my hair out for that.
Yeah.
So they don't need a haircut in October.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the slow season. That's just what I noticed. Overhead for the shop, I would say rent. Let's just say rent's it's probably like $1,200, more closer to $1,200. Plus you got $100 for electricity. You got gas. Gas could be like anywhere from $30. There's the water bill. You know, that's $150. So let's just say the overhead's $1,500. I have to make sure I'm keeping up my part. I can pay my rent here and my rent at home and survive off of just my regular clients alone. I would like all 3 chairs to be running on their own. I think that's a good goal 5 years from now. And then maybe if all 3 chairs are running on their own, there's some profits and I could open up another location and do the same thing.